You will have the opportunity, some of you, to be able to make questions for a little bit longer. Everything closes at a certain time and so on, otherwise we won't have time. So we have now 35 minutes. I will sacrifice my questions to our speakers so that you have time to make the questions for them. I think this is the most important thing. In their most interesting speech, Goode explained to us at the end that he was about to publish a new book together with Michael Salla. And another investigator. He mentioned also the particular adventure from Laura Eissenhower and how to avoid the control of certain entities. So that this roundtable will get around the secret spatial program. I suppose there are many questions, so in case you want to start, you will have them there.
The first question for Laura, actually two questions that I think it's kind of important to... All right, sorry. Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah, okay.
Yes, yes.
So my first question is, what would you recommend to men? Because you are talking about feminine energies. How would you recommend them, to manifest in a healthy way their feminine energies?
¿Cómo podemos manifestar en una buena manera la energía femenina?
Gosh, this is a great question. I think it's very important for men to just not belittle the emotional energies. Or the sensitivities that the feminine carries. That sensitivity is incredibly important because you sort of have to feel things to know how to heal things. And the patriarchal programming is very belittling to those sensitivities. Oh, you're just being sensitive, or oh, silly emotions. And the thing is, we're dealing with some massive wounds here, and holding space and having the capacity to really listen and listening while allowing it to inspire you to get in touch with your own emotions so that you can be vulnerable back, will help move that negative ego aside and also help this greater transformation, because the male energies have been very programmed and compromised, and it's both sides. So women also have to be compassionate about sort of the struggle of men letting go of that sort of more sort of closed off and detached aspects of themselves. So I really just think, honoring the emotions and finding it more of a priority than a distraction, because everything is about love. Everything is about relationship. We're in relationship with everything. And if you can give that to the feminine, you're also giving it to the earth. And you're allowing yourself to experience full Christ consciousness.
And another question, as I asked already, if you could speak on behalf of women, okay, each woman on the world, what would you send, what would be your message to men? Just like, do your homework, and what would you expect us, how to support you? You mean not you as Laura, but as women.
Right.
What would you send, what would be your message? Okay.
Well, patience, humility, compassion. These are major wounds that are thousands of years old and in the making, and the programmings that we're born into are extremely unfair. It really doesn't understand the divine essence. It's all very superficial and about appearances. And look at the struggles that teenagers have and women have, in just trying to have self-worth connected to appearances. We got to be a lot deeper. So my suggestion is that we go deep and we look at the real treasures, the beauty that's within, the wisdom, and really allow that to illuminate the outer form and understand what it all really means, and enough with the superficiality, because that's the program. We live on the surface and we have these facades and we do all that we can to feel accepted, but that paradigm has to end, and it is. So it's really about just deepening the soul, being connected to the soul, And the magic and the bliss and the goodness that comes out of that is so much greater than what we've been taught. And just open your mind to it.
And the bravado programming that we've had.
Yeah.
That's really hard to overcome.
Very much so. So, I mean, we all need to be very kind to ourselves and validate ourselves for being willing and be patient, because it's not going to happen overnight necessarily.
Okay. Next question. Okay.
Hi, Corey. Thank you very much for all the information you shared about the secret programs. But you said that they erased all the memory of everyone that was being trained by the government. So I'd like to know, how do you remember everything?
The chemical blank slating that they used was very effective. But they found that 3 to 5% of people that they blank slated would begin to receive chunks of the memories coming down, and they began to make sense of it. These people were typically intuitive empaths. You have I'll use my old IT background. You have a physical hard drive, and then you have the cloud. The cloud is, let's say, the Akashic realm. Your physical hard drive is your brain. They can physically erase the ones and zeros off of your brain, but an automatic backup system occurs in some people, to where from the cloud, the Akashic realm, this information comes back down. And they've been unable to manage that to a certain degree. That's why they watch people in these programs very closely. And I had thought for a long time that I had full recall of my 20 back, but I've been informed that it may only be 70%. Mm-hmm.
Next.
Hola, gracias.
For translation, channel 3.
Gracias a los ponentes.
Thank you to all of the speakers. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Corey.
Gracias, Laura.
Thanks, Laura.
Mi pregunta es para
My question is to
Michael. Creo que se sabe que el programa secreto espacial hay una parte.
There's a part of it, of the people who work in it, that doesn't approve at all how the program is been taking, is been holding, is been held. So, and they want humanity to know about this. Do you believe that this rivalry about the ones that are against it and the ones that are pro? So do you think that
I think one of the things that is very interesting about this revelation of a secret space programs is that the primary people with a lot of information about it, like Corey Goode, William Tompkins, and there's also another one who's still to come forward, but he's also very well credentialed, who is part of the 20 and Bat program. All of them have been actually given permission to come forward to reveal this, because those in leadership positions running these programs are very dissatisfied with the way the programs have been run and the level to which decision making has been taken out of the hands of the national security decision making process in countries like the United States, and basically privatized, put into the hands of a kind of transnational elite, and that this process has been moving forward to such a degree that many in the national security system that run these classified programs feel that if it's allowed to continue, that the United States, with all its traditions, will actually cease to effectively exist as a republic, and that its military institutions, which are very an important part of the United States history and identity, that they would basically be made redundant, And so I think this is part of the reason that they're coming forward. I think also there are very human factors involved in this, that the effect on morale of people who are denied the kind of memories of their service. People who have served in these 20 and back programs come back and they're not treated well. Many promises are made to them before they join, but then none of those promises are kept. And I think they're also seeing what is happening in terms of these advanced technologies being withheld from humanity and the effect. So for these reasons and more, there is a very powerful movement within the US national security system and in other countries, but I know more about what's happening in the US, to reveal this and to come forward and encourage whistleblowers and insiders to talk about their experiences.
Wow. Next question. La siguiente pregunta. Allí. Okay. Lady.
Hi.
Me gustaría preguntarle a Cory.
Before, that is important to do a general disclosure. And I want to ask you about what do you think about another people who is doing disclosure, like Benjamin Fulford or Cobra. Can you tell me something about what do you think about them, and if they have any kind of relationship with the secret special, exactly.
Yeah. They do not have a connection to these unacknowledged programs, as far as I know. But the two people you mentioned, Fulford and Cobra, are no more important to the cause than myself or each of you. We're all a part of this, and each of them have a part to play. Many of them do have connections to what I call the Alliance, and they're getting information from the Alliance. All of us are presented information, and all of us have preconceived belief systems, UFO religions, I call it a lot of the time, that we use to filter the information. I'm guilty of it, we're all guilty of it. So everyone has to use discernment with the information that comes from us, because we're all delivering it from our own point of view, our own perspective, our own experiences. And those are going to be different than yours, and they're going to be different than the other people disseminating the information. So my information, Cobra's, Benjamin Fulford's, you always need to find, before I reveal any of my information to the public, I have to have it triangulated. If one person tells me something, I need to verify it through two other sources before I share it. So we need to take the same approach as a community to the information coming in, and that information delivered by those two individuals and myself, that information is going to pass through your filter anyway. So as a community, we just need to understand that each of us have our own perspectives that are contributing to the information.
Okay.
Or a Babylonian money magic system, no matter how benevolent it may seem, is a prison planet.
Yeah, okay.
And this is just a different type.
Right, so, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Here. Lady?
Thank you very much. Okay, so this is a question principally, primarily for Cory, but for both of you too. Okay.
Ambos? ¿Quién? Cory and?
Cory,
okay.
And Michael and Lara too. Okay, I liked your presentation very much.
Thank you.
And I love all the information, but I do have to ask a question. Okay, so it's an honest question, and it's actually something that I'm struggling with myself, and it's the basis of many discussions with Robert, who is he's your #1 fan from Despejando Enigmas. And okay, yeah, the question, because it's related. How did you struggle with the fact that your memories has been altered and implanted at some point? So how did you get to trust your memories 100%? And how did Laura or Michael, how did you get to trust Cory's and Rady Kramer's memories 100%?
It's a difficult process. I was giving, like, in the beginning, when I was taken from my 20 and back, I had screen memories implanted, even though I thought my memories had all come back. I still had screen memories of entering a portal from my bedroom to enter the 20 and back program, when in actuality, I walked out my front door, got into a van, and was driven to Carswell Air Force Base. So even throughout the process of delivering my testimony on cosmic disclosure, it's been a process of beginning to trust my memories myself. I had to have assistance from this Mayan group to help me differentiate between what was screen memories and what were actual memories, because they are so adept at going in and tying in. Just think about the amount of time. Not only did they erase my memory of the 20 and back, but they had to go deeper and look for specific instances to put in screen memories. That sounds like an arduous process, but the technology and abilities that these programs have to affect our consciousness and our memory is staggering. So a lot of people are coming to me beginning to have 20 and back memories. Going through the deprogramming process is very difficult, and we're on Gaia, we're starting to do a new show to cover all of my information from the beginning, because as I stated, I thought that I had 100% recall when it turns out I maybe have 70. And there are screen memories that people have to get past. So everything that I say and other whistleblowers say needs to be discerned heavily, because I believe what I'm saying. Who knows in actuality what is programming and what is not? Reality is a very bizarre thing, and it can be manipulated, and each person's reality can be manipulated. My information matches other people's information that have come forward. That is a good way to start, but I honestly believe each person needs to use their own discernment when approaching information that people are giving.
If I can add to that, as a researcher trying to investigate Corey's testimony and others who have come forward, what I found really very important with Corey's information when he came forward was there was so much circumstantial evidence that was paralleling what he was saying at the time. He was talking about slave colonies on Mars, and at the same time there are meetings being held by the British and Interplanetary Society in London discussing the question of how to remove a Mars dictator who conducts a slave colony on Mars. Corey's talking about document dumps. And then we have these stories about the US personnel, the Office of Personnel being hacked, and hundreds or tens of thousands of files on people involved in various classified programs have been hacked. So there were those bits of historical events that were paralleling what Corey was saying. And then there were other people who came forward that corroborated what Corey was saying that hadn't been through any kind of mind control regime. And the two people that I found to be most credible in this, one was William Tompkins, and another one who's still alive is Clark McClelland, who isn't talked about that much, but he's also very important because he actually worked for 34 years with various NASA contractors, and he said many things that paralleled what Corey was saying, and he was told these things from German scientists that were working for NASA in the 1960s, and that corroborated many of the historical information Corey was given, and also some of the more kind of recent contemporary events. And for William Tompkins, it was the same. So you actually had someone, Corey, who had lived through a 20 and back program and knew about the history on the smart glass pads, and then you had two people who worked for various contractors. One with the, both of them had very important roles with the Office of Naval Intelligence. William Tompkins actually was part of a covert espionage program run by the Navy, and Clark McClelland worked for the Office of Naval Intelligence for years as well, and I think his job was to spy on the Germans that were embedded in NASA, and both of them corroborated key things that Corey was saying. So for me, that suggests that his memories are very accurate because we've got independent sources corroborating key elements.
I have to say, to add to all this, it's the humility and the sincerity and the willingness to express the type of stuff that he just expressed to help us to realize the importance of discernment. So when you can look that in that sort of an expanded level of consciousness, that right there is truth. I mean, the thing is, we always seem to want to have all the answers and get the truth, but sometimes the truth involves us just having an open mind to something being maybe real and maybe not real. And to have that flexibility is really important, because once you fix your beliefs to something, it really doesn't get you anywhere. And so a big key for me has always been, the more authentic of a life you live, the more you'll be able to discern truth from false truth, because the frequency of your body is going to tell you. And that's what kinesiologists do when they do muscle testing. The intelligence of the body, when you're living your truth, will feel a grounded, peaceful, calm energy when truth comes, and it'll feel a trigger or a constriction when there's something that's false. So we have to really advance our human vessels by occupying it fully, and being true to ourselves is the key. And being true to ourselves doesn't always mean it's going to feel enlightened, but we might want to just discard that love, light, enlightenment stuff and recognize that maybe the path to getting there is being okay with our emotions, even our anger, but to learn how to healthily channel it in a healthy way so that it serves us. Because on the flip side of every dark emotion is something that's a gift. Your anger is also your passion. Your sadness is also your deepest longing, and it's asking you to go for it and not compromise. And so when you dedicate yourself to you're going to be able to notice the difference. And I've made a point of doing that on my path. And once I got in touch with Corey's work, because at first I'm like, okay, I've been through so many rabbit holes, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this one. And then I was like, whoa. I mean, it connected all the dots of everything about some of my experiences with the Mars recruitment. And I felt the frequency from his voice, and researchers like Michael and the way he puts together information. And Captain K, I'm still on the fence a little bit here and there, but I feel the sincerity. But it's a frequency thing. So allow your physical body and your soul to work for you on that behalf, and stay flexible.
2 questions more. 2. Una y dos. Una.
Hola. Hola, buenas, gracias a todos y a todas por hacer.
Thank you, all of you, to make this possible. And my question is for Corey.
El programa MK Ultra.
That these the programs like MK Ultra have been developed already. Do you have any doubt about following and about being in the program on do you think that you could be in the MK Ultra as well under that? How can you convince yourself that you are not under MK Ultra, and how could you convince somebody to prove him that you are not under MK Ultra?
I think Dr. Salla put it best. Those of us giving our testimony fully believe what we're saying. Those of us in the programs know that there are many ultra programs. MK was German for mind control. Now, the programs for mind control that were developed, of course, they used those protocols in other programs. So if you're wondering if I'm mind controlled, well, the fact is we're all mind controlled to some degree. What Dr. Salla was saying is that you need to find corroborating testimony and evidence before you can fully begin to invest yourself in the testimony. It resonating with what you already believe, that's a good thing, but all of us have our own belief systems, and it'll resonate with some people, it won't with others. We've got to have the academic research to go along with our feeling. If a person, a person can be completely sincere in what they're saying, and it can not be true. But you have to look for the corroborating evidence. Civilian assets are not going to have the documentation. That's the way it's compartmentalized. So you have to take the testimony of people like myself that don't have a whole lot of documentation or corroboration or physical proof and compare it to those who do. I think what's going to be interesting, this associate that we've been talking to that's going to come out that has these impeccable credentials, everything that everyone's been asking for from me that I do not have, this person has. So the more people that come out, the more it's going to congeal, that it's going to match, and you're going to be able to tell who's telling the truth and who's not, in my humble opinion.
The last question. El micro. Ah. Okay.
Okay. So, a question to Corey. I stand up. I have a question to Corey. What have the solar warden, the intraterrestrial, the Escher, the Echela, the Ohio, with the Ariane, what is a program for defense, the KI, the technical intelligence of the universe? What is possible for the defense program for the KI? Have you information for us?
Wait.
I'm sorry.
One question, no more questions.
I'm sorry, I didn't follow your question.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
For the technical intelligence for the empire, from the empire in the universe. But the KI is ja auch in our planet. And what will the solar warden and the program doing for defense this energy here on Earth?
Okay, I'm not sure I fully follow, but Kari's people for quite a while had been in communication with military and secret societies. They were telling them, we come from this star system, we come from that star system. But it was for their own security. They wanted us looking up instead of below where they are located. Now, I didn't quite follow the rest. In defense of the energies.
Wait, please. Wait. Okay.
Yeah. For to extract this energy out of this energy here on Earth in the future.
Well, we don't need protection from the energy. What occurs is this energy is something that occurs like clockwork in our galaxy. Out of our 52 stars in our star cluster, they're all going through this grand cycle of rotation. So these energies coming in are beneficial. It's the part of the process. The only thing that's holding us back are traumas that we've refused to deal with, pains. Each of those things have density, and the energies can't pass through them. They act as anchors that hold us into this third density. Most of our problem is that we are anchored to third density through emotion, through just tradition almost. This third density is all we know. And going to the next level is a process of us surrendering to it. And I've stated that we can't look to the skies for saviors. We're the ones that we've been waiting for. We change the world one person at a time, and that is us. But we have to do the work. And it's it can be selfish. We know that we have to do the work if we want these energies to not make us ill.
Thank you very
I hope
much.
I answered your question.
Wait here, please. Un aplauso para Michael Salla, para Goode y para Laura Eissenhower.